Welcome to Confound the Wise Podcast, episode number 19. The topic today is going to be when God pulls back his bow and makes you the target for his arrow. So, just to jump right into it, a couple weeks ago, I was looking through my Bible trying to figure out, what I was supposed to be reading, and numerous days in a row, it opened up to the book of Lamentations. And the first day, I was like, no, I'm not going to read that. The book of Lamentations is about lamenting. So it's not really one of those books that I was overly enthused to read. But after the third day in a row, I said, okay, maybe there's something to this. So I put on my optimistic, open-minded thinking cap. I've actually read Lamentations a couple times, so I kind of had an idea of what to expect. But just to catch up the conversation here and give you a little bit of dialogue. So for 50 years, Jeremiah had been prophesying that Israel was going to become captive to Babylon or to the Assyrians. Just for a note of reference, it is the same people that fed Daniel to the lion's den. And it's the same people that fed Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to the fiery furnace. King Nebuchadnezzar, I'm sure people can think of a frame of reference. Needless to say, what Jeremiah is talking about in Lamentations is how terrible things have become. So they've burned down all of the cities in Israel. They've taken in the king, and they've taken in all of the government. They have taken all the wives. I mean, they've just really looted and stolen the town and turned everything very, very ugly. They kidnapped the children, and some of the children were put to death, and some of the children, like Daniel, for example, was put in the gifted and talented education. So for the first 3 chapters of Lamentations, all Jeremiah is talking about is how wretched things are. He's talking about how people are starving. They're so starving and sunburnt that they look like they're already dead. And Jeremiah, he feels like he's at fault because he has been prophesying for 50 years that this is going to happen. And he's looking at his people totally distraught. And he is blaming God, and he's saying, God, why did this have to happen? And now everyone hates me. Everyone hates me because I told the truth, and I told the people to repent, and they refused to, but I feel responsible. All of the priests are murdered. All of the other prophets are murdered except Jeremiah. So he also has this very alone feeling. These same people hated Jeremiah. But at this point, even your family that hates you, you still have love in your heart, and you still don't want to see these things happen to them. So Lamentations is certainly not the most motivating book, but we're about to find some nuggets inside of Lamentations to spur on our own growth when God pulls back the bow and aims his mark at you. So I'm going to share a little bit here from Lamentations chapter 3, and then I'm going to tie it in personally. Why I feel like this book kept opening to me and what I had to experience. And I believe that this will add some very comforting words to your life. I really believe that, regardless of which state you're in. I mean, I think that looking from a prophetic standpoint, I think our country right now can definitely relate with Lamentations. The only difference is is that we haven't been taken over by another country and people haven't been starved and all the priests haven't been killed and all of that. But don't blink, right? So Lamentations 3:3, Jeremiah says, surely against me is he turned. He turneth his hand against me all the day. My flesh and my skin hath he made old. He hath broken my bones. He hath bullied against me, encompassed me with gall and travail. He hath set me in dark places as they that be dead of old. He hath hanged me about that I cannot get out. He hath made my chain heavy. Also when I cry and shout, he shutteth out my prayer. He hath enclosed my ways with hewn stone. He hath made my paths crooked. He was unto me as a bear lying to wait, and as a lion in a secret place. He hath turned aside my ways and pulled me into pieces. He hath made me desolate. He hath bent his bow and set me as a mark for the arrow. He hath caused the arrows of his quiver to enter into my reins. I was derision to all my people, and their song all day long, meaning he was their downfall. He hath filled me with bitterness. He hath made me drunken with wormwood. He hath also broken my teeth with gravel stones. So we call that the California curb stomp, when you put someone's jaw on the curb and it breaks their teeth, perhaps their jaw. He hath also, and thou hast removed my soul far from peace. I forgat prosperity, and I said, my strength and my hope is perished from the Lord, remembering mine affliction and my misery, the wormwood and the gall. My soul hath them still in remembrance and is humbled in me. This I recall to my mind, therefore have I hope. So we're talking about a man who is all alone. He feels like he's betrayed his people, and a lot of them are dead. But then, all of a sudden, he has a memory. It is of the Lord's mercy that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Someone might recall that song. At any rate, great is thy faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore will I hope in him. The Lord is good. I said, the Lord is good unto them that wait for him, to the soul that seeketh him. It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord. It is good for a man to bear the yoke in his youth. He sitteth alone and keepeth silence, because he hath borne it upon him. He putteth his mouth in the dust. If so, there may be hope. If he puts his mouth in the dust, there may be hope. He giveth his cheek to him that smiteth him. So he's like, here, smack me. So let's get to the context. So here's my current situation. Current situation is my car broke down a while ago. I've had it in the shop for about 2 months now. They don't know what's wrong with it. I was riding my bike around. Bike got stolen. My property is taking an awful long time. And every day I'm putting in work. And it's so hot. It's so hot. I left my church. My only friend, we're no longer communicating. I'm pretty much in a very desolate place. I can't say that I understand how Jeremiah feels, but I can say that this is not really what I was hoping for. You know, there are some circumstances involved in everything. At any rate, I've really been pressing in. I've really been trying to seek the Lord. So with all of these questions, like, man, what's going on? I've been reading this passage over and over and over again. Trying to tap into the faithfulness of God, trying to be the man that blessed is the man that waits upon the Lord. It is good for a man to bear the yoke when he is young. I've been having that kind of an attitude. And then I think back to May, when I really believe that the Lord was telling me he's going to bring me to a place of waiting, teaching me how to do something that nobody likes to do and just wait. Especially a person like me that is high energy. I'm always wanting to move on to the next thing. But God has taken everything from me. Not everything, okay? But taking a lot of different ways of entertainment out of my life, or things that I could put time into, and really brought me to a place where I can do nothing. I have to walk 2 miles to my property to go work on it. So during that walk, it's more time I get to spend with the Lord. It's more time that I contemplate this and I really lean into God. And I just say, Lord, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my ability to spend time with you, that I'm not distracted right now. I'm not in a hurry because I don't have a choice. When I get home, I'm pretty much by myself. I've been by myself for a while. And I just spend time with the Lord. I spend time reading. I spend time meditating. I spend time getting educated on things. This is what waiting is all about. And waiting is a step of consecration. Consecration means that God has chosen you. He consecrated his priests unto him. He purified them unto him, that they were his. So when God pulls back his bow and he sets his mark on you, if you say yes, he's going to take everything out of your life. He is going to consecrate you. He's going to put you through fire. So we take gold. Many people know and understand how gold is refined. You take these rocks that have all sorts of impurities on them and they have a core of gold, and you put them through white hot heat to burn off all the impurities. Now, I'm not saying that having a car or riding a bike is an impurity. But what I am saying is that if you get everything stripped away, you have two choices. Either you run or you seek. Either you run or you wait. Why? Why is God so adamant that you wait? Because there are so many distractions in this world. There are so many things to get you off track. And I don't mean in a bad place. I just mean out of an intimate place where you're getting to know his heart and he's getting to know your heart. Where you're learning to trust his faithfulness. You will never trust God when everything is all good. Faithfulness is built when things are not good at all. And you have no other option but to lean on him. And then you wait and you listen and you lean into him and you just feel his presence. And you're walking, and then I'm working and I'm pulling weeds for hours. And I have, this thought process in my head going on for hours, leaning into the Lord. And then I'm walking back, and graciously, the last 2 days, I've gotten a ride home. People today are so built into this comfort mindset that they don't know how to wait on the Lord. If they didn't have a car, they'd be miserable. They would be in a panic. If people didn't have health insurance, panic. If people didn't have a, guaranteed salary coming in, panic. And all of these king's meats, all of these luxuries and comforts are all things that aren't bad. But it certainly takes you away from that place of intimacy where everything I have is in you. I am all in. And I'm not by any stretch trying to brag. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. But it's a struggle that I want to accept. I say I want to because I hope I feel the same way tomorrow. And I hope I feel the same way the day after that. If you want God to aim his bow at you, if you want him to set his mark on your heart, you got to be willing to give up something. You got to be willing to give up everything. At least that should be your mindset. I don't know that you'll have to give up everything. The priests in the Old Testament, and by the way, you are a priest. You are a high priest. Jesus paid for your sin that you could be adopted into a holy priesthood. There is a price to pay to put on that robe. In the Old Testament, Aaron and the Levites, which is the tribe that Aaron came from, he was the first priest. They could own nothing. They could have no possessions, no land. All of it was the Lord's. And the only thing that they ate was the sacrifices that came. So when they would put these sacrifices on the altar and they would burn the meat, they would eat that. And then they brought rolls and other things that they would cook unto the Lord, and that's what they ate. They were the Lord's possession. If you want to be and have God's arrow marked on you, be ready to give it up. So I'm going to read these passages one more time. Great is thy faithfulness part. And let this word get into your heart. Let this word get into your heart. Live this word. Eat this word. That's what Jesus told him. He said, eat this word. He said, I am the bread of life. I am the word. Jeremiah says, my soul hath them still in remembrance and is humbled in me. So he's having this memory. And he says, this I recall in my mind. Therefore have I hope. I remember God's mercy. That if God really wanted us gone, we'd be dead right now. But it's because of his mercy. So he must have a plan. He must be trying to do something here. Because we're still walking. I'm still alive. He hasn't given up on me yet. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. I'm still hanging on. The Lord is my portion, saith my soul. Therefore will I hope in him. So that portion is like my meal. Literally it means my everything. He is my portion for food and for shelter. He is my portion for protection in every way. He is my portion. The Lord is good unto them that wait for him, to the soul that seeketh him. When God pulls back, you seek harder. You wait and you seek and watch the salvation of your God. Therefore I will hope in him. The Lord is good unto them, wait for him, to the soul that seeketh him. It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord. There's been a lot of quiet moments, but I wait. And it's so powerful. There's such a presence when you're just leaning on the Lord. You're just walking for miles. I'm a walker anyhow. It is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth. He sitteth alone and keepeth silence, because he hath borne it upon him. He has accepted this task. Lord, bring your mark. I am ready. My heart is ready. Be careful. Be merciful. But I have prepared my heart for this. And I pray that tomorrow, my heart will not change. Give me the endurance and the perseverance to hold on, hold on to your divine hands, to lean into you. Strengthen all of those right now that are going through something, but strength does not come out of nowhere. Strength comes by perseverance. Allow God to give you the strength to keep going, not to have God pull you out of your circumstance. That will not develop strength. And God is all about perseverance. I love you all. I hope this brings pleasant strength to your experience wherever you're at. Amen.